Welcome everyone to another episode of Traders Talk podcast, where we sit down with some of the best funded traders, non-funded traders, so we can hear their story, hear their struggle and use that as fuel to light our own fire. Today, I got a really special guest. His name is Charles. If you guys don't know who that is, if a lot of you guys watch FTMO interviews like I used to do, up until now, I still watch all of them, man. He's the last person that got interviewed with FTMO. But that's not just it. I had Wanda FX on the podcast before. He was interviewed by FTMO, but I don't think anybody's made this much money that's been interviewed. So you made $110,000, bro. That's so. Congratulations to Charles. And how do you feel?
I'm still trying to figure that part out, man. You know what I mean? This is new. This is brand new to me. I mean, before FTMO, because I just like my first funded account. So this is something I didn't say in the FTMO interview, is I actually lost my first account. So I've taken 3 challenges. I did a 100K challenge, a 200, and then two 200K challenges. So the 100K challenge, like I passed it with flying colors, but as soon as I saw that 100K balance, I'm like, I'm just pushing buttons. I'm just trying to run it up. I'm not even worried about strategy. Let's just and then I lost it, so it is what it is. But then after that, I had to center myself, and I was like, all right, I know I didn't use any strategy on that account, so let me go back, and I'm going for the gusto, and I'm gonna do the 200K challenge, and I'm gonna actually try to stick to the plan, this time. And then it's been good since. I didn't make as much as what I should have made, but I'm good.
Oh, you still made a lot, dude. You still made a lot more than. You're in the 0.01%. So that what you made is equivalent to what, 27% on the gains?
I have no idea. I think I don't look at percentages really. Like it's a lot of stuff that I probably should look at that I just don't. But I'm trying not to do like information overload. I'm just trying to keep it as simple as I can. And if it's working, I'm just gonna let it work.
Let it work. Yeah. So if anybody wants to actually like really go into Charles' strategy, I'm going to link his YouTube channel below. You got some real interesting names for your strategies, like Angel Dust. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So the link for that will be in the description below. If you want to I believe there'll be a link for his Facebook group as well. But just wanted to talk. So yeah, you have $400,000. That's fine, man. Before I even got funded, I lost three challenges, and then finally whatever started working. So what we like to talk on this podcast is kind of like about your story, how you got here, what the struggle was, and some things in between. I mean, obviously, if you made $110,000 in 1 month with FTMO, that's amazing. I think you're probably one of their top payouts.
It was more like 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
It was more 6 weeks. I want to put that out there because I do 2-week payouts, and so that was 3 payouts.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they used to do just 1 monthly payout, and then that's when they would do the interviews, like when I did mine. But now, they are doing bi-weekly, so that's correct. So I got a chance, and if anybody else watched that interview, you'd hear a little bit more about Charles' story. But first question I always love to ask, and the reason I ask this question is because I want to, I'm a fan of trading, of other traders, so I like asking this question. Like, what was your life like before you were introduced to trading? Like, were you still working this job, or were you trying to do something else? Like, what was life like for Charles before like trading was even a thing, before he made a dime from trading?
Yeah, before trading was even a thing, I was actually doing MLMs. It's always been a matter of trying to make money outside of my job, whatever way I can figure out how to do it. So yeah, I was doing the multi-level marketing stuff, and I was trying not to be that guy that was always in people's inboxes and stuff. So I was trying to figure out how to make people come to me, instead of hassling them and all that. But I didn't like doing none of that stuff.
It's tough,
man. I'm like, this is not what I want to do. And so, but I still want to make money outside of my job. And I was working in healthcare, just doing like general customer service, healthcare type stuff. So answering phones and,
like as a full-time job, that's what you were doing full-time?
Yeah, it was a full-time at the time. I was working at full-time. I eventually transitioned over into an IT position, and I was working at an IT help desk position. This is kind of when I started trading. And when I learned about Forex, that was kind of my way out of the MLM world. I was like, oh snap, it's a way to make money without having to build a team. I don't have to do no more recruiting, you know. And then a few years later, then all the Forex MLM started coming out, and I'm like, here we, you know, now y'all finna ruin this industry, you know. But it's not. There are some good people out there. Don't get me wrong. I know a few people that I've talked to who have tried to recruit me, and like they're legit. But it's just, but the Forex MLM thing, I don't want to have.
Makes no sense. Like, why would you have
Forex was my way out.
Right.
Yeah, that was my way out of the MLM world.
So and I guess that was the perfect exit, right? It's just like with I've talked to other people on this podcast about like IML stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me how you would have time to do both things, because trading can take up so much of your day, like especially when you're new and you're learning. You know, I used to sit here for 12 hours, dude. I would not have any time to call anybody or anyways. That's for another time. So how long have you been trading for at this point total?
Yeah, it's been a little bit over 7 years. It was January of 2015 is when I got my introduction. And it was I started off with binary options in January of 15, and then like April of 2015, that's when I started. I transitioned over to straight Forex.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then in terms of your Forex trading journey, like, did you just try to like go on YouTube and go that route? Or did you like did you pay for any courses? Like, what was your education journey like?
I think my first group was a pretty popular one. Am I okay to say specific?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go for sure.
100%. All right, cool. So the first group, it was called Forever in Profit. It was the very first group that I got involved with. It was, I think when they first started, like they blew up. But when I got in, I was like one of the first 100 students.
Really?
When they got started, yeah. And then they took off. And dope group, don't get me wrong. It's just a lot of things. A lot of it was well, for one, I was brand spanking new. Let's see, but Forever in Profit, I bought the Steve Morrow Beat the Market Maker strategy. I had I mean, but just groups in general, like definitely like 15 to 20 between courses I bought, groups I joined, and I paid 2 mentors. So I've done a lot. Yeah, I was dishing the money out, trying to figure this thing out. And but it just wasn't. Maybe it was stubbornness, but you know, some of it was like, dang, you get in a group and you see so many people seemingly being successful with it. And so you kind of figure out like, dang, what's wrong with me? Why can't I figure it out and they getting it? But it just caused me to pretty much, after a while, say, let me just back up. Maybe I just learned differently than other people. And I just started realizing, like, when I'm looking at the charts, I keep seeing the same stuff over and over again. And so I started taking screenshots whenever I would see something that I felt like I had seen before. And I was in the same folder as what it looked, you know, this other one it looked like. And all those screenshots eventually start turning into different strategies. And I just went from there.
So it's kind of like you put your own strategy together. So like my view on what you just said, and I'll be quick, is I feel like every course that I bought or every little mentorship I did, I learned a little bit of something. Then I took it with me to the next one, and then I took it with me to the next one. Over time, I learned small bits and pieces, but no course really made me profitable. You know what I mean? And I think a big part of it, I think you said something about this in your interview as well. It comes down to like who you are, like how you learn, and your personality. So if the course doesn't match or the strategy actually doesn't match your personality, sometimes it won't work with you, because some people are like really good at like, they need to scalp. Some people can like days and stuff, right?
I blow my account every day trying to scalp. I cannot. Nothing.
And some people can do it very well.
Like if I scalp, it's on accident. And I will say, man, it's something. And since I'm on here, let me just say this. I apologize, because on the very first video that I put on my YouTube channel, it's like a beginner's Forex overview type thing. And I said in that interview, I pretty much was kind of talking bad about scalpers. And a
Okay.
little bit after, because I'm like, if you got a scalp, that just means you don't know where the market's going. I'm kind of coming from that angle. You just kind of getting lucky. And I'm like that. And looking back on that was so stupid. That was a dumb statement to make, because again, that's just not how I trade. So
Yeah.
who am I to tell somebody that they can't scalp if they're successful scalping? You know what I mean? So I apologize, man. Anybody who might have heard that and felt some kind of way, or even if you heard that and you agreed with me, I was wrong. Like, that's not how we need to be thinking. Like, let people trade how they trade.
Yeah, everybody's different. And one thing that's different about you is that it looks like you're a very indicator-based trader. Is that correct? Would that be safe to say?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I know,
yeah,
like how you were saying, you learn a little bit, from each group. Like I do understand the market patterns, and like they're the market structures. Like, for example, if something's in an uptrend, like I know, like I know all about the higher lows, lower highs. Like I know a lot of stuff that I don't use
right.
per se. Um, Maybe subconsciously I use it within my strategies without really knowing it, but like there's a ton of stuff that I know, and I just don't trade that way.
But I guess it's good that you know it. Maybe you said it right. Subconsciously, it's still in the back. You have experience, right? That's the thing. You have been doing this for 6-7 years now. So sometimes it comes down to like just seeing the same thing every single day. And like for me, recently, one thing that topic I'm going to be talking about is like intuition. I feel like over the years, it's almost like an intuition sometimes. When you trade the same thing every day, all right, I know I have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen here. And somebody who's new, and if you teach somebody the same thing and they just haven't done that repeatedly over like a time period, they're not going to have the same instinct as you. So, would you, like, when I saw you explain that indicator thing, I was like, oh, that looks super complicated, dude. I couldn't do that. But it's what works for you, and and you've been doing it for a while. So, what's angel dust, dude? is that like a
PCP, man? You ain't done angel dust? No, it's fun. Now it's PCP for me. It stands for peak center pass, and that's just one of the main factors that I use to spot M's and W's in the market. Like when I was learning back in the day, M's and W's was like a big terminology, popular terminology in the Forex community. But I had a hard time catching those, because I'm like, man, I would think it was about to do the last little, it was about to take off, do the takeoff part of the M or the W. And then it wouldn't, and I would get caught up and take an L. And so I just had to tweak the way that I was looking at that, and I turned it into peak center pass.
Okay.
And so but they look different on different strategies. So for angel dust specifically, it just came, it was just, I had PCP in my brain. And I think I had just watched Friday, the original Friday by Steve and Chris Tucker.
I remember that part where
he was smoking. It's like, it's angel dust, Holmes, PCP. I'm just like, angel dust. That's what I'm gonna call the strategy, PCP.
And that's really funny. So, I mean, I guess that's what works for you. So, in terms of and I think I heard you talk about this as well. Like, somebody can learn trading pretty quick. I think trading you can learn fairly quick if you spend a lot of time on it. Like, you could probably teach a strategy to somebody. Risk management, I struggled with it for a long time, but the real thing I want to talk to you about is psychology, because I still struggle with that. I'm not ashamed to admit I still, I'm much better at it, but before that was the 100% the reason why I wasn't making money and I was blowing accounts. What do you do to like keep your emotions intact when maybe sometimes for me, it's like sometimes I miss a trade. I'm like, oh, damn it, I just missed this huge trade. Or it stops me out, and then it just goes, or and those things can get really annoying sometimes. And I'm pretty good at like them at bay now, but it's hard. Like you would know, it can get a little trickier sometimes.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah, it's I mean, psychologically, like I said, I'm still struggling too. I'm right there with you. I'm a work in progress, but my thing is, sometimes you just feel like pushing a button. Like, let's keep it real. Like sometimes it's like, let's say like Tuesday and Wednesday this week, I didn't trade at all.
Okay.
That's something that's an improvement because I didn't see nothing. It used to
Right.
just be like maybe I might have made it through one day, but then the next day I'm just like, I didn't take any trades yesterday. I gotta take some today. If I find something that even kind of looks right, I'm taking it, because I just feel like pushing a button today. And so for me to make it 2 days in a row, staying disciplined enough to just be like, I don't see anything. And then Thursday, I saw something I probably shouldn't have taken. Luckily, I made it out, unscathed. Still made over 1,000 Thursday, but there were 3 entries that I took. And it didn't come back and like hit my +1 or nothing. It was just, it took too long to take off. And I kind of figured out, I was like, you know what, that's probably not the best setup. Let me just go ahead and exit this trade. And so got out of that, but I was still, still good, won them. And then, but yesterday was the first time I actually saw one of my strategies like play all the way out, where I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I had a really good day yesterday because I took the right trade. But it was, so that in itself is a proof of progress for me psychologically, because there's no way I'd have went 2 days in a row without taking a trade. Even probably 3 or 4 months ago, I'm pushing a button today. You know what I mean? So it's really just a matter of knowing, like, that whole thing where they say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, if I know I'm not following my strategy and I'm going off a hunch and I keep doing this over and over and I keep losing most of the time when I do that, why am I still up in here going off of a hunch? Wait on the strategy, Charles. Like, and so it's just finally, I'm finally coming out of my insanity.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I had everything down, and then, but I think it's one of the problems with traders is over trading and over leveraging. And the same last 3-4 months, the biggest improvement I think I've made, which is a pretty big improvement, is I don't take a trade unless I have. This week I took a trade almost every day, but there's been weeks where I didn't trade the whole week. And like anything, I felt like everything was garbage. And so if it doesn't meet my requirements, I'm actually wanting to go less. I want to take the least amount of trades as I can per month or per week and still make the same or more percentage. It's less stress. It stirs up less emotions in you. It causes less problems. Like, if you can just limit your trades and wait for the best setup, I think that's like the best thing that anybody can do, because once you lose a trade or once a stop loss gets hit or you miss a trade, like your emotions, you might not know it, but your emotions in the back of your head are starting to like go up and down. And that's what causes like something really, that's what really causes the problem. So like, what is one thing that you could maybe, suggest to a beginner or break-even trader that's kind of like stuck in the learning phase, or maybe they're stuck at the break-even phase, because people want to know, like, how did you get funded and make $110,000? Like, what can they do to like at least level up? Like, what is one piece of advice, I guess?
So my big thing is focusing on your losses. A lot of people focus on the wins, and I say focus on your losses. The reason why is because, and granted, when I say focus on your losses, I mean the ones where you thought you took the perfect setup, not the ones where you were just being stupid. If you just being stupid, that's why you lost. But if you're looking at the market and you're like, this is the setup, I see it, everything's right, and then you take that trade and then you lose that one, all right, take it, break it all the way down compared to ones that you actually won. So if you won, 5 of the same setup, pull up some of those and then compare it to the one you just lost. And I'm talking about break it down on different time frames, whatever you got to do until you find the difference. And when you find the difference, write that down, and then make that a rule to say, okay, I won't break that rule. I actually just did that recently on one of my strategies, and I'm about to drop a revised tutorial this week on one of my strategies because I took an L on it like Friday or something like that. And yeah, did the same thing. I pulled it up, compared it to some other ones, and I found it. I was like, there you go. Wrote it down, you know.
Right. So you
Now I
found
know.
it.
And it helped me. So like how I was telling you, I didn't trade Tuesday and Wednesday. I saw that same setup Tuesday and Wednesday, but that one rule wasn't met that I just had found. So it saved me 2 days of losses that I would have taken.
That's amazing. And that those 2 days of losses could have resulted like in having bad emotion, bad thought, like having a bad mindset for the rest of the week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can limit your losses, man, I think it makes a pretty big difference. How many pairs do you typically look at one given time?
Hey, I look at a lot of them, and I know a lot of people like, you should only trade 2 pairs or 3 pairs, and I get that. I do understand where they're coming from, but the way that I trade, and I look at about 9 of them, and even within, I really would say like 10 or 12, but I keep about 9 up at any given time. But if I don't see anything on those 9, then I might pull up a couple of more just to see, like, well, let me see what's going on over here on this one or that one, just to see if I can find something to trade today. But yeah, I trade a lot of pairs, man, but it doesn't take me a long time to spot my setups because I'm just so used to seeing them now. So what I do is, because I analyze everything on the H1 time frame at 2 minutes to the hour. So like, let's say I wake up in the morning at 6:45. I come to the computer at 6:58, 6:57, somewhere up in there, and then I start looking. And if I don't see anything, I'm done until 7:58.
Done. Okay.
And so then I'll come back at the market at 7:58. I look, and it didn't take me but like 5 to 10 seconds per pair to be like, nope, there's no setup. Nope, there's no setup. There's the one. I'll pay attention to that one. Nope, nope, nope. And once I find one that is worthy of me kind of paying attention to see if it's gonna pop off, then I'll start looking at the market for that hour. But until I see something, man, it'll be a 30-second run through, and then I'm done until the next, 2 minutes before the next hour is about to close. So I'm really not staring at the computer that long during the day, like
that's
maybe
really good.
2 hours total, and that includes the time where I'm waiting on the entry to happen.
So that's really good.
It's not too bad. Now I do enjoy looking at the market. I'm kind of nerded out a little bit at this point. So as far as me actually analyzing the market, then yeah, I would say like 2 hours. But I mean, I keep it pulled up so pretty much all day because I like Forex, So it's just cool to me to watch where things go. Maybe I can try to find another strategy or come up with another strategy in the meantime. I never know what might happen. I enjoy watching the market. Like, I'm like, who am I turning into? I guess it's just weird. No, I never thought I would. Yeah.
I agree. No, and it changes, man. I used to be on the charts all the time last year. Now it's like, it's almost like I have to limit myself. Sometimes if you sit there and look at it for too long, you're like, you just start making up stories in your head. So I look at it. If I'm done with my thing, then it's okay. Then I set alerts and I'm gone. Now, all right. So last question I wanted to ask you, because I really enjoyed this part. Like when I watched your interview, this is the one that like really hit me, because this is what I was interested in. Was when he asked you, was like, because look, trading is not easy. Number one, when you're learning, you're going through the losses. It's emotionally exhausting. It can be financially exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And it can, and I've had some people like message me with some really bad stories of people. They just gambled all their money, whatever, right? Like, and the question was, what kept you going through those tough times when you didn't even know you were going to get funded or you ever were going to make $1? You know what I mean? And you're just like in that losing, when you're stuck, like what kept you going, right?
Yeah.
And you answered very well, and I love the answer. So just please answer it again.
No problem, man. And that just comes down to like, why are you trading in the first place? And the why has to be bigger than a selfish, 100%. I just want to be rich. You know what I mean? Like, why do you want to be rich? What's the purpose? What are you going to do with that money or that time freedom? And for me, it was just family. It's me watching my wife not enjoy her job. And, that in turn impacts, the house. Like if she comes home and
Right.
she's had a bad day, then that's less peace in the house. Or if I have a bad day at my job, like that's less peace in the house. I can't, I don't want to take my frustration out on her or my kids, or where maybe they're wanting to hang out and have time, and I'm just like, I just need like 30 minutes, y'all. Like I want to be in a good headspace. And so for me, it just came down to like, I want to be in a position to where my wife no longer has to work because she doesn't enjoy her work. I want her to be able to do her thing, whatever she feels like doing that day. I want to be able to go substitute for my kids' classes, go to and coach my kids' teams, all that type of stuff. Like I want to be able to really just be that good family man, hang out with the family, and
Right.
at the same time be an example for them, to let them know like, hey, when you grow up, you don't have to be a slave to somebody for 50 years or whatever the case may be. Like it's an example to them at the same time. So it's all about family for me. Just being able to hang out with them and do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Man, that was literally my why. And I think it's really important. This is where I want to end it. I think it's really important for you to have your why. Like, why are you? Because it's a little crazy to want to do this for a living. But yeah, man. With that being said, thank you so much, Charles, for coming on, man. Huge inspiration. I'm sure everybody got lots of stuff out of this podcast. Now, are you going to be posting regularly on your YouTube? Can people expect for some stuff from you there? And what is are people open to join the Facebook group, or is that like closed for certain people?
No, it's just the Facebook. It's really just a Facebook page. It's not a private group or
Okay.
anything. I don't currently have any plans to do any type of a paid service or a course or a Telegram, anything like that.
Right.
Because like I said, for me, it's more so of a time freedom thing. And so
Right.
I just kind of want to hop on YouTube when I feel like it and say, hey, here's a tutorial on this or that.
Yeah.
But once people start paying me for something, then I become obligated to
Obligated.
spend more time, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get away from. I want to be able to do my thing when I feel
Right.
like it. So
Wait.
but yeah, the Facebook page though, I do have a Forex related, like one that's dedicated to Forex. So sometimes I might not make a video on something, but I'm gonna start posting on my Facebook page more. Like if I, make profit that day, or even if I take a loss or whatever the case may be, I'll probably post it there, even if I don't make a video. So there will be some things that won't be on YouTube that they can find on my Facebook page if they're just more interested.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Charles. I'm going to leave, guys, I'm going to leave all of his links in the description. You can catch his YouTube channel. He already has about over 10 videos. Anyways, thank you for coming on, man. Hopefully we'll have you on again at some later point in the year and enjoy the rest of your day.